Hello and welcome to the video training for the Writer's Guide to Training Your Dragon. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking a look at these videos. You've come here obviously as a result of buying a copy of this book. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Quick word on this video course. It's not a formalized course in any way. You don't have to watch every single video in order. It's nothing like that. It's just a set of videos that I decided I'd like to put out just to reinforce some of the points that are in the book. I know it can be confusing. Dragon is not the most simple of programs at the best of times, and then all of the jargon involved with microphones and computers and this and that. I thought it'd be quite nice to just put a few videos up to go into a little more detail on some of the things we covered in the book. Now, a quick word on these videos. They are private videos, although they're hosted on YouTube. They are not visible on YouTube, so they really are only accessible if you have the links, which you have as a result of buying the book. So please don't give the links out. I really do appreciate you picking up a copy of the book, and this is very much my thank you for doing that. So I hope you enjoy these. I'm going to start off. I thought it'd be a good place to get going with just a few words on the basics, really. Some of the things that we do cover in the book, but I just wanted to go into in a little more detail. So obviously, if you've got this, you'll have read a little bit about the equipment I use, and so there's my ugly mug, the equipment I use, and so on. Now, I'm actually doing these videos, recording these videos, and dictating on the same device. I use a Microsoft Surface Pro 4, which I then plug into a monitor. I have a keyboard and mouse, so it functions as my tablet, my laptop, and my desktop. And on all of those platforms, I can effectively use Dragon. So let's go into the actual software. I'm using Dragon Naturally Speaking 13 Premium. Now, I do mention again in the book which one of these to get. It can get very expensive. There's a version called Dragon Professional, which runs into crazy money. There's also Dragon 13 Home, which is the cheaper version. I don't recommend it purely because it has some restrictions on how you can use it. Most notably, you cannot use it to transcribe recordings. So if you want to record into a voice recorder or into an app on your phone, then import that into your PC later and have Dragon transcribe it. The home version cannot do that. So it's a little bit of a false economy. You might think, oh, I'm never going to use that. Well, fine, but I beg to differ. I think anybody who's ever used that becomes hooked on it. Now, the premium version does allow that, so just in case you think you're ever going to use it, it's a one-off cost. As a writer with a business, it's a tax deduction, obviously, so stump up the extra and get the premium version. Now, it's important to note, this is version 13. This currently works on Windows 10, which is what I'm using right now. Do you need version 13? It's a tough one. I mean, you can pick up version 12 or 12.5 as it is after you update it. Version 11 even, for much less than this, half the price or less. But Nuance are not the greatest, let's say, at making sure their software works with newer versions of operating systems. So versions 11 and 12, they kind of came out when Windows 7 and 8 were about. Now, they might work just fine on those operating systems. I can't guarantee they would work on Windows 10, for example. So if you are absolutely sure you're not going to upgrade in the future to Windows 10, then sure, get a cheaper version. The functionality is all pretty much the same. You know, Nuance always says, oh, it's however much percentage more accurate. I've never found that. I think from about version 11 onwards, the accuracy is pretty much perfect. But one thing this new version does is it does provide far better accuracy out of the box, and that's something we, you know, really bang home in the book, is about getting as accurate as possible from day one. And I will say that version 13 is very, very accurate out of the box as long as you set it up correctly. So then you have all these other versions, Dragon Anywhere, which is the new mobile version for Android and iOS. I believe it's only on iOS at the moment, but I may be wrong. But it's only in the US at the moment, I know that. That's a subscription service, so right now that one's an unknown quantity. But this is the one you want, Dragon Premium. And then you have these options for more specialized industries. So that's if you're running Windows. If you're on the Mac, then you really only have one option, unless you're a doctor, and that's Dragon Dictate for Mac. Now, it's people instantly, you know, seem to think it's more expensive because it's for the Mac. It's actually not. If you look at the price of the premium version, and the Mac version gives you the same features more or less as the premium version of the PC software, in that it allows transcription. This is Dragon Dictate for Mac version 4. I'm not sure why Nuance have got that on their website, because Dragon Dictate 5 is now out. But hey, that's Nuance for you. So there is actually a Dragon Dictate for Mac version 4, which is this one, but there's also Dragon for Mac, which is actually the box they're showing there, which is version 5, and that's the newest version. So it's a little bit confusing. They've got Dragon for Mac on the box, which is version 5, but they're selling Dragon Dictate for Mac, which is version 4, which is a bit strange. Anyway, Dragon for the Mac, I believe, is a compromised product. It's not as good in many ways as the PC version. It runs exactly the same speech recognition engine as the Windows version, as Naturally Speaking, but it doesn't allow for quite the same level of customizability. So in terms of getting it to learn your writing style, corrections, things like that, it's just not quite there. It's not quite as good. But if all you want is just, good quality, accurate dictation out of the box, it will do that job precisely. My only other issue with it is it seems to be very buggy, and this is something that is picked up a lot on forums and on the Amazon reviews, for example, for the product. A lot of Mac users complain that it's extremely buggy and it just doesn't seem to get any better, and that has been my experience. I've used a Mac, and I actually ended up selling my Mac and switching to the Surface Pro 4 because I just couldn't get Dictate to work as well as I wanted it to, and I ended up throwing in the towel and going back to Windows because that's the best tool for me. However, if you do have a Mac, another alternative is, I mentioned this in my book, you can install this on your Mac, the Windows version if you want, using something called Boot Camp or using virtualization software such as Parallels. So there are options, and the Mac version, don't get me wrong, it does work fine if you just want good quality dictation. My issue is it lacks a bit of customizability, and it seems quite buggy. Anyway, those are your options. There's not much else to go on, because they really are the the market leader. Okay, so you need Dragon in some form. What about a headset? Well, we're just on Amazon here. This is the sort of headset that we traditionally associate with speech recognition software. Just, you know, a boom mic that goes over the head. And a lot of these are rubbish. Let me be blunt on that. Don't, you know, you might look at £25 or whatever for something like this and think, oh, that's expensive. Trust me, it's not. It's not expensive at all. You can spend an awful lot of money on these things. But in terms of the laws of diminishing returns, this is about the sweet spot for a half decent headset microphone that's going to do the job. And I really like the Plantronics Blackwire series. You know, it says it's optimized for Microsoft Link. You don't need to worry about that, but that is basically it's software that is used for things like video conferencing and conference calls and all that sort of thing. So it's very much optimized for speech and noise cancellation. So it cancels out the noise of those around you to a pretty good degree. So this is the Plantronics Blackwire C310. There are more expensive ones. You can see there's stereo ones and all sorts. Just, you know, the C320 is the same, but it has a stereo instead of mono sound. Just depends on what you want, really. I prefer these sorts of things if I'm using a headset. I'm not bothered about stereo sound. But that's quite a good quality headset. You notice it's USB. I seriously do not recommend the analog connectors, the 3.5mm connectors, because they are so dependent on the sound card that's in your equipment. Just get a USB one, okay? If you decide you don't want to be wearing a headset all the time, or if you'd rather just have something that you can put on your desk and leave there, then I recommend something like this. Again, we're on Amazon. This is the Blue Snowball Ice, and this is something I mention in the book. It's not the same as the Blue Snowball. The Blue Snowball has other pickup patterns. In other words, it will pick up noise from the sides or behind or whatever, however you want to position it. This is what's known as a cardioid microphone. So it basically picks up the sound directly in front of it, okay? And it has a USB connection here at the back, little tripod that you leave on your desk. There it is, okay? And this is a very good, very high quality microphone for desktop use. And I have one of these on my desktop. I'm actually recording this video using this actual microphone right now. So it's good quality. It works well with Dragon. I recommend it. But again, it is a desktop mic. You are going to be sat at your desk using it. Bear that in mind. If you want to transcribe while you're out and about, then how about something like this? Smart Voice Recorder is an app that you can install on your Android phone, and you just press the big red button and you start recording. And the thing I really like about this app is you can specify the quality, and you can whack it right up to 44.1 kilohertz CD quality and get the best possible quality out of your recording. The other thing I really like is you can then instantly upload the file you record to your cloud storage of choice. So if, for example, you've got a Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever, OneDrive, you can then instantly upload the file. So when you go to your computer and fire up Dragon, the file will be there. Your cloud storage will automatically sync the file to your computer, and it's sitting there ready and waiting for you. So it's a really convenient, really just a really good little voice recording app. It's actually, there is a free version which has all the features, but has advertising, so I think you can pay a few pounds and get rid of the advertising at the bottom. So that's on Google Play if you're using Android. If you're an iOS, an iPhone user, another good option is Voice Record Pro. And this does pretty much the same thing, very different interface, but you'll notice how you can do the same thing here, where you can upload to your cloud storage instantly. You can set your recording quality and so on and so forth. Okay, so, and if you've got an Apple Watch, wowee, you can even record on your Apple Watch or control it with your Apple Watch. Isn't that fantastic? So I hope this has helped. This is just a quick intro to say thank you for buying the book, and to just reiterate some of the points that I make in the book regarding equipment. Now, I will be doing some videos that go into a little bit more detail, but this hopefully has been helpful and will get you started. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.